more breathable.
This set will definitely enhance my quality of sleep.
Learn more at miraclebrand.co.
Laura takes the issues head on.
Do you ever wonder how things got so crazy?
Straight to the point, no corners cut. ᗇΔેᗰកិ May, weeknights at 7.
Can you believe this? Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas. You guys look great. Once I turn 40,
let me guess, less energy?
Less drive?
definitely.
It's not your fault. It happens to every man. Testosterone levels drop as you age.
It happened to you guys?
Yeah.
So what did you do?
We got Nugenix Total T.
To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text STORM to 42424. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Tesnor, a key ingredient clinically researched to help increase testosterone levels.
That does it. I gotta get Nugenix.
Just send a text for a complimentary bottle. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text STORM to 42424. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you lose fat and get lean absolutely free. That's STORM to 42424.
Tired of wasting your money on products that just don't work? That's why Nugenix Total T lets you try before you buy. Just text to claim your complimentary sample. Nugenix Total T is a unique formula, so nothing else is like it. It contains Tesnor, shown to work in 3 clinical studies. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand and #1 at GNC and Walmart. Prove it to yourself. Text STORM to 42424. Do it now and we'll...
That we're dealing with and bargaining with. It's the entire block of countries. It's all of the EU, of course, minus the UK, minus, London and Scotland. So here's where we're at right now. This is what Europe's Trade Commissioner actually said. Good calls with Secretary Lutnick, Ambassador Jameson Greer. The EU Commission remains fully committed to constructive and focused efforts that pace towards an EU-US deal. We continue to stay in constant contact. Politico, though, has this article out this morning, and they quote an anonymous source, an anonymous EU official, that says, quote, "It's irritating and ignorant, self-sabotaging drivel," which is such a European word to use, isn't it?
Drivel?
Drivel.
Without question.
Nice.
Yeah. I just had to add that little commentary.
I like that you did that. It's true.
So do you need greater proof that talks are going nowhere than this nonsense? That kind of finger pointing doesn't help, you guys. You just note to European officials, don't talk to Politico. Just go into a room and figure this out. Everyone would be much happier. Anyway, so yeah, he delayed that 50% tariff hike until July 9th after he had that call that I mentioned at the top of this conversation. The other thing I was looking at this morning, so France's president, Emmanuel Macron, he just cut a deal to buy a bunch of Airbus planes, right? That's what we don't want. We want them to buy Boeings. We don't want them to buy Airbuses. So one thing that's being talked about would be interesting is maybe taking the industrial tariffs off the table, 0 to 0. So that's an idea.
Right.
All of this is getting worked out. These calls are happening. It's up to Howard Lutnick and Jameson Greer at this point.
Sure is. And the deadline's July 9th now.
Yeah, a little time.
My quick thoughts on this. Maybe that's what Bridget was so upset about. Maybe she wanted the planes to come from Boeing, not from Airbus. That's why she.
They were on a plane when it happened, so it could have sparked some controversy.
Cheryl, can you look into that and let us know?
Todd, you just cracked the case.
You know what?
I'm like Columbo.
I'll take my little assignment and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll update you both with any progress made on said research.
Don't miss Cheryl on Mornings with Maria. Cheryl, thank you so much.
You bet.
Okay, so here's a question. What will the White House do with the billions of dollars in federal funds it wants to strip away from Harvard's federal grants? Well, President Trump laid out one idea in a Truth Social post, writing, "I am considering taking $3 billion of grant money away from a very anti-Semitic Harvard and giving it to trade schools all across our land." What a great investment that would be for the USA, and so badly needed. How about that? Jared Kaufman of Kaufman Construction joins me now. Jared, good morning to you. So you say that trade education has culturally been at a deficit. So it sounds like this could really be very helpful.
Absolutely. Right now, homes in the United States are the most expensive they've ever been. And I can also personally attest to the fact that trade education and the skilled labor that's actually building these houses is the least educated they've ever been. We are at a little bit of a turning point where there are schools starting to re-implement trade programs into them, which is good, but a lot of them are facing budget issues. So actually, I could really see this being a beneficial thing.
Yeah, and I loved your POV because you also said that the best way to teach somebody to build a house is to actually build a house, which obviously is extremely expensive. So if this money is really put into trade schools, how should it be used to help benefit those trades?
I think there's lots of different opportunities. A local school near me that I know actually has a plot of land that they have, and they basically subdivide it and they build a house each year with the students. I think you can kind of kill two birds with one stone right there, because you're helping provide to the actual housing deficit and the fact that we need more houses on the market, while doing at a cheaper rate, because you're doing it with the schools, but then also being able to teach the students more effectively all at the same time.
Yeah. What was your reaction when you first saw this Truth Social post by President Trump? Were you thinking, man, I mean, this could really turn things around for this country?
I think it could definitely be influential. I think it could definitely go a certain route where it really is great for the industry and great for the country altogether. So really, I mean, I saw it and I feel like it's probably just the kind of thing, he's still at it. He's still
coming up with
stuff, so.
different and new ideas. What was your trade school experience like, and would you recommend it to other people?
I had a really great experience. I went to trade school for welding for 2 years before I got into carpentry, actually. And I had a phenomenal teacher. He is very, very dedicated to his craft. He would send us to these skills competitions every year, and it was like every year I was there, our school would smoke every division. So I was very fortunate to have the teacher that it did.
And you say that the stigma for trades is going away. Can you dive into that a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So I think everybody kind of knows, especially the people older than me, that growing up, there was this sort of idea that seeing someone in construction, if you're in the car with your kids, you might say hey, you don't want to do something like that. Make sure you go to school so you can be a doctor or a lawyer or something cool and flashy. And nowadays, that's actually starting to change a little bit. With me being relatively young and my other friends that have chosen other professions, I'm able to sort of compare and contrast our lives. And I'm like, actually, I think I'm well ahead of the average maybe for my age. And it's all because of the construction industry. And I think people are starting to realize that, and there's starting to be more respect for it as a career and just as a life choice.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, your last name is Kaufman, and you've got Kaufman Construction, so I would say that you are well ahead of your peers. Jared, thank you so much for joining us on this. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. All right, Lawrence Jones has a look at what's coming up on Fox and Friends. Hey, Lawrence.
Hey, Carl, I missed you yesterday. I felt a little lonely down here.
I missed you too, but we're back together today, which is great news.
That's right, the band is back together.
Yes,
it's good to see you. So good morning to y'all. Coming up on Fox and Friends, we got a busy show. We're recapping yesterday's Memorial Day events, including this powerful video released from the White House about the true meaning of Memorial Day. Plus, the stunning new details from the Biden administration on how the A's were pulling strings behind the scenes in, quote, undemocratic ways to save democracy from President Trump. And meanwhile, breaking overnight, new arrests in New Orleans as 3 more escaped inmates are captured. We'll tell you how the police got it all done. And the report of a $20 million plan Democrats are trying to come up with in an effort to talk to men. You need $20 million to learn to speak to us? We'll break it all down coming up on Fox and Friends.
What you want to do is save hundreds when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
That's great, but can you ask your friend to stop digging into the green?
I can ask, but he's not going to. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
We are living with AFib, and over 500,000 of us have left blood thinners behind for life. We've cut our stroke risk and said goodbye to our bleeding worry with the Watchman implant. Watchman, it's one time for a lifetime.
The TᖝጴEᗩKIටිG breeze makes sleep feel cool. So no more sweating all night or blasting the air conditioning, because the Tempur breeze feels up to 10 degrees cooler all night long. During our Memorial Day sale, save up to $500 on select adjustable mattress sets.
It is amazing. They used to have collagen, used to have a probiotic, a green juice that replaced it all. with this Arma colostrum. If you don't know what colostrum is, it is amazing, but it is a bioactive whole food. It has all the essential nutrients you need for your skin, your gut, energy, focus, mood, performance, your hair, like immune system. It strengthens, supports all of that. I think the first thing I noticed was the energy and recovery that it had after workout, but if you want to try it, we'll try armor.com.
1 in 3 U.S. consumers have been a victim of identity theft, even when they did all the right things to protect their personal information.
I thought we did enough to keep a nightmare like this from happening.
Even if you take steps to protect your personal information, banks, hospitals, employers, and many government agencies all have your personal information too. And when they're exposed, careful monitoring of your accounts and credit won't be enough.
It's scary when you think about how easily this kind of stuff occurs.
And you might not find out until the damage is almost impossible to fix. LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats others could miss, far beyond what you could possibly monitor on your own. And if you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed. Plus, all plans include identity theft restoration, guaranteed, or your money back. Call now or go online and use promo code NOW35 to save 35% off an annual plan for your first year. Enroll now.
I'm a little nervous.
Do you tell me when it happens, or? Did he just leave?
Come on, bring it back.
If he smells this good,
he's got my attention.
The new cologne for men by Particle. Visit trygravite.com. Use the promo code and get 25% off.
Bring him back, please.
At Public Rec, we're on a mission to make comfort look good. We develop premium performance fabrics that are built to last, easy to care for, and hard to live without. Our Daymaker pads, with their various sizing options, are designed to fit your life's moments, no matter what comes your way or how you spend your day. More comfortable than jeans, more stylish than sweats. Public Rec, where comfort rules.
New Swiffer Mop Deluxe is made for small spaces. The upgraded strip has 75% more scrubbing power. And with the new locking head, getting into tight spaces is simple.
Can I borrow it?
The all-new Swiffer Mop Deluxe, the mother of all cleans.
With Vrbo, you save over $200 when you stay a week or more. And any reason to extend a vacation is a good reason to extend a vacation. Stay longer and save with Vrbo.
Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino bring you America's News.
We've got a ton of stuff on tap for you.
Diving into the headlines that matter with the critical analysis you need.
We'll take you through all of it.
Don't miss America's Newsroom, weekdays at 9, only on Fox News Channel.
An Alabama teenager back in action water skiing nearly 1 year after a shark attack led to the loss of her right leg and left hand. Lulu Gribbin is her name, and she remains determined to live a normal life, saying she will not allow the attack to stop her from doing what she wants. Gribbin was on a trip with a friend in Florida last June when they were attacked by a bull shark. A third woman was also attacked in the same area, prompting the governor of Alabama to sign a bill establishing a shark attack alert system. Good for Lulu, living her life.
There you go. Meantime, as the weather gets warmer, it's not just bringing more people to the beaches. Several sharks have already been spotted along the East Coast, stretching from New York to Florida. So what do you, Americans, need to know to stay safe? Dr. Gavin Naylor is the director of the Florida Program for Shark Research at the Florida Museum of Natural History, and he joins me now. Doctor, are you seeing any shark activity so far this year that you would deem unusual for this time of year?
No, there's nothing unusual for this time of year. Certain species move into different areas as the
water temperature changes. But what we do see this time of year is a lot more people at the beaches, and so more people are likely to encounter sharks.
Sure.
So it's largely driven by human behavior, not sharks.
Are you expecting increased shark activity this year in the aggregate compared to years past? And if so, why?
We don't anticipate any more than we normally see. Every year we see oscillations. It goes up and down, but we don't anticipate anything unusual this year relative to past years.
All right, let's go through your safety tips. I'm just going to say right off the bat that number one seems pretty logical to me. If you see them in the water, get out of the water. It's not the thing you would do with a bear where you would play dead. You should get out.
That's correct.
All right, let's go through the rest of your list here. It says you see a lot of small fish jumping out of the water. Something larger is chasing them. That seems logical, too. What kind of fish should we be paying attention to when you say small fish?
So anything in the Northeast, they call them bunker or menhaden. Any schooling fishes that that jump out of the water, it's usually a sign that something, it needn't be a shark, but something larger is chasing them. So when I see that and my kids are in the water, I tell them to get out.
Understood. And again, here's sort of the overall takeaway. You are far more likely to drown than get bitten by a shark. This is your area of expertise. You've studied this. Obviously, we hear sharks. We saw Jaws over the last 5 decades. We've all been freaked out about sharks in the water. Talk to us about the threat and how worried we should be, if at all.
We shouldn't really be worried at all. When we see an increase in sharks in the water, it's usually a sign that the system is fairly healthy. Sharks were fished down extensively, excuse me, in the 1990s, but the U.S. has put protections in place to safeguard them, and some of the populations are increasing. So we see much more healthy oceans, especially in the New York area. We're starting to see more sharks in the area, but they're not a problem at all. As you mentioned, you're about 200 times more likely to drown in the ocean than you are to be even bitten by a shark, and even much less likely to be killed by a shark. So when you see sharks in the water, it should be like when you see whales in the water. It's a sign that the system is coming back and the oceans are becoming more healthy.
What is the biggest myth about sharks that you want to dispel?
That they hunt you down, that they are looking for people to eat, that people are a favorite food. If that were the case, we'd have about 10,000 bites every day in the oceans. Sharks are doing their level best to avoid people, not seek them out. And so if you're lucky enough to see a shark at the water and you're in a safe place to observe them, then you're very fortunate to have such an experience, just as you would be if you saw a whale in the water.
Okay. 15 seconds on this last answer. If I find myself face to face with a shark and I cannot escape, is it true that I should punch it in the nose?
Yes, it is. They have a lot of sensitive regions around the eyes and around the nose. And if you hit it fairly squarely, it should deter most sharks.
Dr. Gavin Naylor, great insight. Really appreciate it this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that was helpful. Punch the shark in the nose. Well, Dr. Naylor was trying to calm concerns. I am still not calm. I like the sand, but I appreciate his advice and his expertise.
Don't expect to see Carley in the water this summer. She will be on land. Fox and Friends begins
right now.
All right, welcome back, Ainsley. Good to see you, Charlie.
Great to see y'all.
It's 6 a.m. on the East Coast, and it's Tuesday, May the 27th, and this is Fox and Friends, hiding in plain sight. Democrat aides and operatives waiting until now to reveal what they saw when it comes to Biden's decline all along.
April, and he was rambling and he was hard to follow, and he repeated a story, but then we were assured by people around him that he was just exhausted.
And President Trump stripping billions in grants from Harvard. Could all that money be headed to a better place? The new education plan he's suggesting.
And you know him online as Dr. Mike. He's here to answer your health and wellness questions this morning. Fox and Friends starts right now. And remember, mornings are better with friends.
All right, welcome to Fox and Friends. A beautiful day in Frederick, Maryland right there. Is that a church right there?
Looks like there are a few. There's one on the right with the cross on the top, and it looks like a few other steeples to the left.
What a way to start the show.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We missed you yesterday, Ainsley. Hopefully you got some good time off and to remember the men and women that sacrificed for our country. I think the president and J.D. Vance, the vice president, Pete Hegseth, really let us know exactly what it's about. I know we all love barbecue and all, but it's really not about that. It's about honoring the life and legacy of the people that made the ultimate sacrifice. Here's a montage of yesterday.
The duty we owe these men is peace, which only can be achieved through strength. And because we strive for peace, we must prepare for war. We owe these men nothing less. Our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
The very best way to honor the fallen is to only ask the next generation to make the ultimate sacrifice when they absolutely must. We must be cautious in sending our people to war. The second way that I try to honor the fallen is to commit ourselves to being worthy of their sacrifice.
Every Gold Star family fights a battle long after the victory is won, and today we lift you up and we hold you high. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving America the brightest light in your lives. It's what you've done. We will never, ever forget our fallen heroes, and we will never forget our debt to you.
It's just beautiful remembering those who have sacrificed everything for our country. He remembered the Gold Star families. You heard him there saying that every Gold Star family fights a battle long after the victory is won, and today we lift you up and we hold you high. You know, many people do celebrate with or remember people by getting together with family.
That's right.
They have their barbecues. They go to the beach. I know you were at the Indy race over the weekend. There was a big hockey game, I know, for Florida fans last night, and Charlotte or North Carolina fans. We have our way of spending time with family, but you have to take a moment, especially on that day, to remember our fallen soldiers, and that's what the president did. And he released, Charlie, this beautiful video.
Truly.
Let's watch.
Truly breathtaking. I hope that anybody who missed the speeches yesterday goes back and listens to them. They're not long. The Hegseth and Vance's speeches were both like 6 minutes long. Trump's was a little bit longer, but they were all very, very short. It won't take very much time. They're worth listening to. They all belong in textbooks, actually. I thought they were so incredibly good. And I love the thing that one of the things that President Trump said was that the memory and the accomplishments of what these people who have sacrificed all for, they're not captured in granite or in bronze statues. They're captured in the life we live here today. And I think you're so right. You know, you do spend time with family, and it is fun, and you have a great time, and you play cornhole.
Why do we have that fun?
You go to but why do you have that fun?
Because of what they did for us.
And living in that with that sense of gratitude for those men and women who gave all actually enriches your life tremendously.
The president also placed a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, which is a somber tradition for presidents to do. It's a symbol of all of those who've been lost, but also have not been identified.
That's right. I hope you had a great day yesterday, but I hope you took some time to remember, not just yesterday, but throughout your week, that you remember the fallen and their families as well.
And the Instagram video that we played for you with taps, it was 70 seconds long. And the caption on Instagram that the White House posted said, "Memorial Day isn't about barbecues or beach days. It's about those American heroes who gave everything for our freedom."
So true.
So if you've lost a loved one serving our country, God bless you. We thank you.
Meanwhile, travelers across the U.S. facing another day of setbacks following the long holiday weekend, with over 441 total flights delayed today already, and at least 133 cancellations.
There were more than 5,000 delayed flights yesterday after storms across the South, and more severe weather threats are in effect for today.
Let's check in with senior meteorologist Janice Dean for our Fox weather forecast. Hey, Janice.
Hey, good morning. I know a lot of folks want to get home. Let's take a look at it. We're going to see the risk for strong storms today along the Gulf Coast, the southern plains, and it looks like we have a tornado-warned storm for central Louisiana, just west of Baton Rouge. So watching that severe weather, that line of severe storms, not only the tornado and the strong rotation, but we have a line of severe thunderstorm warnings north of that. So that's going to be an issue throughout the morning. And it's a widespread severe risk from Texas all the way across the Gulf Coast, the Mississippi River Valley, in towards Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. So that's going to kind of linger not only today, but throughout the rest of the work week as we have the stalled front. And along that stalled front, the potential for heavy rainfall, 3 to 5 inches over the next few days. And because we have saturated ground in some of these regions, we could see the potential for flooding. So there's your TSA checkpoint travel statistics. 3 million people on Friday passed through the TSA checkpoint. That's up over 100,000 people from last year. And here are your airport delay forecasts here for Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville. Looks like we could see the potential for delays where we have the rain in the forecast, the thunderstorms. So keep that in mind. Have a way to get those watches and warnings. FoxWeather.com will help you out, as will I, throughout the morning. Back to you.
Thanks, Janice.
Janice, I talked to someone who's from another country over the weekend, and she said, does May stand for maybe it'll rain, maybe it won't?
Exactly
You might have to use that. It's very good.
Good, right?
So
I like
true.
it.
Every day. Is
Thanks.
Maybe you'll get home.
That's right. Maybe
Charlie, you haven't seen your family in 5 days.
Not.
It's going to happen, Charlie. It's gonna
We're
happen.
believing it.
That's right.
No delays at LaGuardia for you.
It's all about faith.
Well, speaking of delay, we were delayed in getting some information from the administration. I mean, we kind of knew because we have eyes and we can see. The American people saw it, obviously, throughout his presidency, even before the presidency. But the administration, the former administration officials, have this new line of defense. I was raised, when you say an apology, you don't say but they say they did it but because that they were fearful of democracy and Donald Trump. Meanwhile, they did something that was totally undemocratic, which had non-elected officials running the country. So the Obama bros got together, and this is what they said on the podcast. Watch.
We went to the White House and saw Joe Biden, who had just come back from a trip, and he was, I don't think it wasn't as I think, egregious as what you hear in the audio around the Her report.
This was April of 2024.
It was April, and he was rambling, and he was hard to follow, and he repeated a story. But then we were assured by people around him that he was just exhausted. I remember feeling, I want to talk about this as a huge liability. I want to talk about this as something Joe Biden can overcome. But I'm not going to go so far as to say, I think Joe Biden must drop out. He is too old to be president. A, because I didn't know exactly what was going on behind the scenes. But B, if Joe Biden is the candidate, I want him to win because I care about the country.
So I guess this is kind of helpful in that it reaches new people and exposes the story to new people that maybe we haven't been reaching ourselves. But it is kind of amazing to sit back now and think 4 years. I mean, if you read like this book, this new book out, Original Sin by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson, if you read that book today, for us, it's completely boring. Yeah. It's like you could boil it down to 2 pages, and it's like reading transcripts from everything that we've been talking about for the past 4 years. But of course, the biggest problem of all is that so many reporters like Jake Tapper and even Alex Thompson to some degree had spent that exact same 4 years trying to stamp out these stories and prevent people from hearing those stories.
So that soundbite was John Lovett. He was a former Obama speechwriter, and he was on with Jon Stewart, and he was basically saying we didn't care if this was the worst candidate ever. We were going to do whatever it took to win. And you mentioned the book. Alex Thompson was on with Shannon Bream over the weekend, and he talked about how they had just this cadre of handlers and aides that were running things behind the scenes, people that weren't even elected. Listen.
In the book, you quote a longtime Biden aide basically admitting he shouldn't be running again. They said to you on page 85, he just had to win, and then he could disappear for 4 years. He'd only have to show proof of life every once in a while. His aides could pick up the slack. Who would have been running the White House in a second Biden term?
Well, this person went on to say that when you're voting for a president, you're voting for the aides around him. But these aides were not even Senate confirmed aides. These are White House aides. These were unelected people. And one of the things that really, I think, comes out in our reporting here is that if you believe, and I think a lot of these people do sincerely believe that Donald Trump was and is an existential threat to democracy, you can rationalize anything, including sometimes doing undemocratic things, which I think is what this person is talking about.
I mean, this is clearly elder abuse. I mean, they literally are saying, we just need, just as long as he's alive, we'll keep propping him up. But I think it's the latter part of the conversation that deserves the investigation, which is the concession that, Ainsley, they knew the entire time, but they didn't want us to know about it. I think that part deserves hearings to figure out all the people in the cabinet that were doing the propping up.
Absolutely. And for someone to tell those authors he'd only have to show proof of life every once in a while. Yeah. This is the president of the United States. Imagine yesterday, Memorial Day. Imagine if you're a Gold Star family and you lost your loved one, your child, let's say, because of Afghanistan, perfect example. Under Joe Biden's administration, how upset would you be when the person in charge can't even run the show? People who weren't elected behind the scenes, we don't know them all. We're running the show, running the country.
He's commander-in-chief. That title means something. You're commander-in-chief, and there's only one, and you get elected. That's what it's all about. And after all these years of us getting lectured about democracy, and I think you're exactly right, Lawrence, it's not about Joe Biden. No. It's about everybody that was using him and using and basically overriding our democracy in order to exercise their own power, even though none of them were elected.
I have to be honest. I'm so sorry, Ainsley.
Go ahead.
I was upset with Joe Biden for a while about all of this because I'm like, you know, you should do the right thing for the country. It's clear here. But judging by the book and all the accounts, no one told Joe Biden that he was in decline. Everyone hit it. All the accounts show that not only his family, but all the staffers. And then you put yourself with the elderly people that have been in our lives, that we had to take the keys away. They're all in denial about it, but you make the right decision for them and you say, hey, this is what's going on. We got to do this. We love you. We're going to be with you every step of the way. At no point does it say in the book or any of the accounts that they told the president, things are bad now.
Yeah, they had a responsibility to do that, and especially for the American people and for our troops. But, I mean, to also know that he wasn't getting PSA tests. They didn't have the blood work.
How amazing is that?
It's incredible. This is the president of the United States.
Incredible.
Keeps going.
Yep. Okay, 3 more inmates broke out of a New Orleans jail almost 2 weeks ago, are back behind bars, leaving just 2 of the original 10 still on the run.
And Todd Piro's here with the latest. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, it looks like this story is getting closer to an end. We're just not there yet. Good morning to all 3 of you. All 3 of those inmates were recaptured well outside of New Orleans yesterday. Police say Lenton Van Buren was found in Baton Rouge, sitting on a bench near a department store after someone called in an anonymous tip. The other 2, Jermaine Donald and Leo Tate, were captured in Walker County, Texas, more than 300 miles from the jail they escaped from. Police say the 2 led law enforcement on a high-speed chase before being taken into custody. A manhunt still underway for the final 2 remaining escapees. Derek Groves, convicted of multiple murders and was awaiting sentencing before the prison break. And Antoine Massey, charged with domestic abuse and car theft. Authorities say they are considered armed and dangerous. Another alleged accomplice also arrested yesterday, accused of assisting Massey after the escape. That brings the total number of alleged accomplices all the way up to 13. It's been almost 2 weeks since the 10 inmates made a run for it after busting through the wall of a cell. A criminal investigation into their escape is also underway. Officials are offering $20,000 for information leading to the arrests of the remaining 2 fugitives. Back over to you.
And Todd, did you include this in your report? How many people were arrested they were accomplices?
13. And in my interview with Chris Swecker today, former assistant FBI director, we made the point that as we get more of these accomplices being arrested, the trail of breadcrumbs is going to eventually lead to these final 2. That seemed to be the conclusion from Chris Swecker and others in law enforcement.
I wonder if that's what happened in Arkansas. Thank you so much, Todd.
Speaking of.
Yeah, there's this former Arkansas police chief who was serving behind bars for first-degree murder and rape, and apparently he escaped from prison.
Yeah, so this is what the Arkansas Department of Corrections are saying in a statement. On Sunday, May the 25th, at approximately 2:55 p.m., inmate Grant Harden escaped from the new North Central unit. It has been determined that Harden was wearing a makeshift outfit designed to mimic law enforcement when he escaped the facility. He was not wearing a Department of Corrections uniform, and all DOC's issued equipment has been accounted for.
You think he ordered that online? Can you imagine if you ordered that and you got a clown suit instead? I don't think that you would
but you have obviously he's a former police chief that understands the sources and methods of police and how they track people. And he got away.
How did he get a police uniform? Did someone help him behind the scenes?
Well, then they're also, I don't understand how he got it then, because they said that they checked all the listing for all the police uniforms and they have them all. So something's not adding up there.
There's his picture. If you see him, call 911.
Slimy guy.
He's out there.
He might be dressed as a prison official.
That's right. Anyway.
How does a police chief get convicted of these crimes?
It's just such a violation of trust of the public and law enforcement. They expect us to, do the right thing and be above board and to commit murder. Anyway.
Or rape.
I think we've got some more headlines. Carley?
Yes, guys. Good morning to you. From Arkansas to New York we go. Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex trafficking trial resumes in New York City in just hours after Combs' ex-assistant Capricorn Clark took the stand. Over the first 2 weeks of the trial, jurors heard celebrity testimony on Diddy's alleged abuse from ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura and singer Don Richards. The jurors also heard from rap artist Kid Cudi, who testified that Diddy broke into his house after he made his relationship with Ventura public. Today, Diddy's ex-assistant is expected to detail a motive for the 2011 break-in. And check this out. Whoa, shocking footage from a home security camera catches the moment a moving truck explodes while driving through the Chicago suburbs. The big blast on Saturday morning damaged multiple homes and created a debris field spanning an entire block. The driver thankfully did survive, only suffering minor injuries. Officials blame the explosion on a propane tank that was leaking inside the vehicle. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says his department is, quote, supercharging the hiring of air traffic controllers and offering an incentive to longtime workers to help end the staff shortage for good. The incentive is a 20% salary bonus for those eligible for retirement. The goal is to keep more experienced controllers in the field longer. Secretary Duffy reports the worker shortage could take months, if not years, to fully resolve. And did you see this? French President Emmanuel Macron speaking out after this video captured his wife shoving him in the face before walking off their plane in Vietnam. Macron quickly recovered, flashing a smile before the couple walks out, and he is now downplaying this whole incident, saying, there's a video showing me joking and teasing my wife, and somehow that becomes a sort of geoplanetary catastrophe, with people even coming up with theories to explain it. We are horsing around and really joking with my wife, says Emmanuel Macron. That is his story, guys, and he is apparently sticking to it.
I'm not buying it.
At all.
Whoa, that's some way of joking around there, right?
Nice. And I know the look of a scared man.
Look at this.
Okay?
Look,
when he looked at that camera, he was like, guys, nothing to see here.
And they're not holding hands here. They're still mad at each other, I think. Look at that. He went in for a kiss, and she's like, I'm still mad at you. Get away from me.
I still can't get over their original relationship. He was in... She was the teacher. I mean, hey, to each his own.
Who's running the show?
Exactly.
Only the wife can do that to the president of a country.
But the only thing that matters to these people is putting on a show for the cameras.
100%.
So when he looks out there and he's like, oh, but like you say, they weren't holding hands going down.
I know.
That's the look of a scared man.
They didn't really pull that off.
A nervous and scared man.
That just shows you even the most powerful people in the world have relationship problems.
That's exactly right. A little violent there.
Yeah. Maybe he's right, but to me it looked really forceful.
We wish them well.
Yes,
I mean, I'm not a relationship expert, but maybe some counseling, maybe talking about your problems and not resulting to the hand.
They need a vacation.
I mean, she is much older than him, so I understand the face.
That's true. That's true.
Unbelievable. All right, still to come. The FBI has taken a new look into some Biden-era unsolved mysteries, including that time the Secret Service found that bag of cocaine in the White House. We have a live report on that.
Plus, from playing video games to trying to go hunting, Democrats have struggled to appeal to men. We're going to tell you about their new $20 million move next.
We have a thing called the middleman. You know the middleman, right? They are rich as hell.
That's why drug prices are higher in America.
We're paying much more than other countries because the middleman makes more money than the drug companies.
America is the only country in the world that lets middlemen take up to 80% of every dollar spent on medicines.
We're going to knock out the middleman. We're going to get drug costs down at levels that nobody has ever seen before.
To lower drug prices, we have to cut out the middleman.
We're still here 20 years later. Who knows what's going to happen next?
We want bigger than we've ever seen before.
You have just set the bar for season 20.
AGT. Check your local listings.
Phenaphthaloperdon is approved for adults with bipolar 1 disorder with acute mixed or manic episodes. Unlike some drugs for bipolar 1 disorder, nausea, vomiting, and restlessness are not common with Fanapt. Fanapt may be associated with serious side effects. Elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis treated with antipsychotics are at increased risk of stroke or death. Fanapt is not approved for elderly with dementia-related psychosis. Fanapt prolongs the QT interval and may be associated with abnormal heart rhythm or sudden death. In 5% or more of people in clinical trials, heart rate increases, dizziness, hypotension, weight gain, dry mouth, stuffy nose, sleepiness, and increases in liver enzymes have been observed. These are not all the side effects. Talk to your prescriber and learn more at fanapt.com. By Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
Aline trusts Prevagen for her brain, and this is her story.
I'm Aline, and I live in Castro Valley, California. My husband, Barney, and I have been married for 32 years. I think the most important thing in life is to stay healthy. I went to the drugstore, and I discovered Prevagen. Prevagen is my go-to supplement. I love taking it. I'm very happy with it. I've been taking Prevagen for almost 10 years. It's wonderful.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
The average dog only lives to be 10. That's 10 birthdays, 10 first summer swims, 10 annual camping trips. At the Farmer's Dog, we don't think that's long enough. That's why our freshly made food comes pre-portioned, just for your dog. Because a dog at a healthy weight can live a longer, happier life.
Travel can make you smell kind of funky, but aluminum-free Secret Whole Body Deodorant gives me 72-hour whole body freshness. For long layovers, surprise gate changes, and heavy luggage. And it's totally middle seat approved. Secret, no sweat.
Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino bring you America's News.
We've got a ton of stuff on tap for you.
I'll take you through all of it.
Don't miss America's Newsroom on Fox News Channel.
Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Introducing ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact.
It is so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Strengthen and tone your legs, increase your mobility, flexibility, and balance. Plus, stimulate healthy circulation.
My joints feel
better, my knees feel better, my back feels better. It makes me feel stronger, too.
Perfect for home therapy. Whisper quiet to use while you work.
My circulation is moving, I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
Call now and order ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Call and get upgraded to the deluxe bundle. Get the faster motor for 5 miles of steps per hour, the step counter, the sport mat, and wireless remote. Call now.
We've got a juicer and a steam oven, but our favorite appliance is our Aquasana filter. It makes all the water that we drink and cook with cleaner and healthier.
Tastes better too.
Visit aquasana.com today.
Roback's got the gear for your perfect summer days. Shop polos, hoodies, Q-zips, and much more in the American Summer Collection at Roback.com.
The FBI is now taking a second look at some of the biggest unsolved mysteries from the Biden era. Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with more. Hey, Maddie.
Good morning, Ainsley. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino made this announcement on X. There are 3 cases that he says the agency is looking into: the D.C. pipe bombing investigation, the cocaine discovery at the Biden administration's White House, and the leak of the Supreme Court Dobbs case. The FBI has yet to identify the suspect who left 2 pipe bombs near the headquarters of the Republican and Democratic National Committees on January 5, 2021, the night before the riots at the U.S. Capitol. There is a $500,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest and conviction. In January 2023, the Supreme Court announced its investigators failed to identify the person who leaked a draft of its decision overturning Roe v. Wade. The court called it one of the worst breaches of trust in its history and a grave attack on the judicial process. Protests began almost immediately after the leak, with some demonstrators showing up at justices' homes. And in July 2023, the Secret Service closed its investigation into the discovery of cocaine at the White House. The drug was found in a cubby used to store electronic devices and personal devices before entering the West Wing. The agency said it was not able to single out a suspect because it did not have enough physical evidence, like fingerprints and surveillance video. Bongino says he's requesting briefings on these cases every week and that they are making progress. Lawrence?
Some big news at the Bureau. Thanks, Maddie.
You got it.
So new details from the bombshell book Original Sin, claiming a political bureau of Biden advisors were operating as the ultimate decision makers as the president's cognitive function declined. Here's co-author Alex Thompson on Fox News Sunday.
These aides were not even Senate-confirmed aides. These are White House aides. These were unelected people. And one of the things that really, I think, comes out in our reporting here is that if you believe, and I think a lot of these people do sincerely believe, that Donald Trump was and is an existential threat to democracy, you can rationalize anything, including sometimes doing undemocratic things.
Incredible. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Guy Benson.